Hi, I'm West, and I love talking about the Rangers. I'm here to talk about Game 57 of the regular season, where the Rangers lose 4-1. This one isn't the fun 4-1 to the Winnipeg Jets. Shots were 51-21 in favor of the New York Rangers tonight. You want to know who lost in blowout fashion? That's right, the New York Rangers. Throw it up, the holy grail for stat nerds who do nothing but count beans all day, the money puck chart. Look at the deserve to win-o-meter. Look at expected goals. We were the ones that got blown out at home. This game came down to two things: the goalie in that net and the goalie in that net, and one of them was far better than the other. I want to make it abundantly clear. Igor Shesterkin is a good goaltender. I do not think that what he is during this past 10 games or so is indicative of the player he is, right? His rookie season, even though it was only 12 games, was great. His second season, even though it was not a full season due to COVID, and also the fact that he got injured, was really, really good. His third season, he was the Vezina. I believe he was almost... He was not unanimous. I want to say Anderson got a vote, but ran away with Vezina voting, right? For his career, he is more often absolutely unfair cheat code than mediocre. But the past 7 or 8 games, he has not been good. This game came down to Igor Shesterkin and Connor Hellebuyck. And in the other net, Connor Hellebuyck played one of the finest games I've ever seen by a goaltender. He absolutely bodied the New York Rangers tonight. And I cannot emphasize how good Connor Hellebuyck was for the Winnipeg Jets tonight. He was magnificent. 50 of 51 on the road for a team that played last night. And he stole the 2 points for Winnipeg. Absolute unreal performance by Connor Hellebuyck. In the opposite net for the New York Rangers, Igor Shesterkin, who was 17 of 21. And it just doesn't cut the muster. First goal. It was a power play for Winnipeg, and look at the screen in front. I'm not going to be too critical of him. Second goal, juicy, juicy rebound, just begging for someone to bank it in, and he does. Scheifele on the rebound. It's 2-0. You've got to hold that. You've got to be able to hold that and freeze the puck there. He doesn't. You head to the second period, and it's Kyle Connor, and if he just wouldn't move, if he would just stay still and not do anything, he would have saved it. But the puck goes here, and instead of staying there, he brings his shoulder up, and it just squeaks through. It's 3-0 Winnipeg. You go to the third period. The Rangers would tie it, by the way. Really nice pass from Tarasenko to Trocheck. That's a nice little combination. I thought the second line looked good. Every line looked good tonight. The Rangers had 51 shots! But the fourth goal, Igor's out of position, and he's way too deep in the net. Backhander from Scheifele, 4-1, over. And you might say that was a really quick rundown of it. There's not much to go over. The Rangers shot the daylights out of Winnipeg. 51-21. You could have doubled Winnipeg shots, and there still would have been a decent gap between the two of them. When Connor scored the third goal, that made shots 22-10, still in favor of the Rangers while they were down 3-0. They could have not gotten another shot on net after 6 minutes into the second period, and still outshot them! And so it's a game that almost at face value, you just want to look at the offense and say, what the hell happened? You lost 4-1. Where were the goals? And that was the thing. The goals were virtually on every single chance they had. Hellebuyck completely body-bagged the New York Rangers tonight. And the game ultimately boils down to, again, multiple things can be true at the same time. The offense got goalied. And so you almost just throw your hands up and say, what are you going to do? At that same time, Igor Shesterkin was not good enough tonight. I absolutely adore Igor Shesterkin. I'm not trying to dunk on him by any stretch of the imagination. This was a bad game. It was a very bad game. He had a very, very easy workload tonight. Winnipeg had about 2 and some change expected goals. I can't think of a great shot they had all night. And that's not to take away from Winnipeg because they were tired. And they won, and they ultimately, because of the performance of Connor Hellebuyck, they kind of deserved it. Let me rephrase that. Connor Hellebuyck deserved the win. But again, if you lose 2-1, or 3-1 with the empty netter for Winnipeg, We're not having this conversation. We're just talking about, well, some nights you get goalied, toe tagged. It happens. It happens. What are you going to do? The fact of the matter was, you gave Igor Shesterkin an easy workload. And he couldn't make a save. I'm not happy to say any of this. I love Igor Shesterkin. He's one of my favorite players on the team. It sucks to say it. But it's just kind of the truth. He has not looked the same. The two things that I notice about this game and that I've noticed a lot this season for his biggest issues, he's way too deep in the net. He is playing way back. He's giving players far more to shoot at. His rebound control has not been there. Last season, he would either swallow the puck or deflect it into the boards or up into the netting. Past couple weeks, really this entire season, he has been deep and not taking enough away, and just the juiciest rebounds for opposing players. He has not been able to swallow the puck. And ultimately, the way goalies are, the way the position is, of how volatile it is, you've got to make a choice in the coming games, in the coming week or two, on how you want to snap him out of it. Because it's game 57. The playoffs aren't that far away, and you'd kind of like to, have your goalie at peak playing before going in. I don't even think that's proper grammar. You'd like to have him at his best heading into the postseason. And so ultimately, you have to make a choice coming up here, which is either ride him like a horse or make him for like a week or two, make him the backup and give him time to get mentally right. Either next, 6-7 games, play him 5 or 6 times, depending on that, right? If it's 6 games, play him 5 times. If it's 7, play him 6. Or next 4 games, have Halak start 3 of them and let him have a moment to realize that, not as a threat, because we know it isn't a threat because Halak is obviously older and there's no possibility of him stealing the spot, but make him be the backup for a week. Or ride him like a dog and just force the great Igor back out. Because the himmy-haw, game in, game out, game in, game out, game in, game out, has not worked this season. You rode him like an absolute horse last season to a Vezina and like second in the Metro. Either do that or sit him. But the 1-for-1 does not work and has not worked. Your next 5 are Detroit, Washington, LA, Philly, and Ottawa. And those are very winnable games. I would personally go the route of ride Igor like a horse in those games, because you should be able to win 4 of the 5. You can drop the one to the Kings. I'd rather not. Rather win all 5. I'd rather win every single game for the rest of the season and through the playoffs and to a cup. But you should definitely win 4 of those 5. I would ride him like a pony and hope that he can goalie a few of those teams and get his groove back. But you've got to pick one here, because the 1-for-1, I know I've said it a lot, it ain't it. You're in Detroit on Thursday, 7 o'clock. I'll be here afterwards to talk about it. But that's all I have for the night. So if you enjoyed the video, please consider to like and subscribe. Thank you all so very much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day, and as always, go Rangers.